Welcome back, students. We're at week 13. This week is a fun series of lectures because we're going to be talking about digital advertising. So this content isn't in your book or on the AMA Dictionary website because it's moving so fast and changing so quickly that publishers of textbooks just can't keep up with this stuff. So this being a Principles of Marketing course, I'm not going to get into the step-by-step details of how to use, say, for example, Facebook Ad Manager and all the individual steps there. There is a cornucopia of tutorials online. A simple Google search will give you anything you need about how do I set up a LinkedIn page, how do I use the new Snapchat features, et cetera, et cetera. It's all out there. So what I want to focus on in these lectures is really giving you some kind of baseline strategy and understanding of how the digital advertising piece works. So this first lecture is going to cover the bullet points that you see above me in this slide. We're going to talk about keywords and the bidding process and this concept of permission marketing and how content drives that. And then some of the common digital advertising steps that you go through to determine the size of your market and prepare your bids, etc. And then the last point is ROAS, which stands for Return on Ad Spend. So buckle up, take good notes. Here we go. So two primary learning objectives this week. I want you to understand how keyword strategy impacts your selection of your target market, as well as the size of the market that you're going to be working with, and how keyword selection, meaning the words that they're going to use to search for your products, also impacts the digital advertising costs that you're going to pay. So that's the first learning objective. And the second learning objective is going to be about some common strategies for using content to get your target market engaged with your content. Okay, so when we talk about keywords, what are keywords? Keywords are simply the phrases or individual words that people use when they're searching for your products online. And when we talk about searching online, most commonly Google, but this could also be if they're on a mobile platform. So there's two different types of keywords. There's short tail and there's long tail. Short tail are short, like oftentimes single word or two word phrases, like say mountain bikes would be a short tail. A long tail phrase would be women's mountain bike Trex brand used, right? That's a long tail. That's a more specific phrase. So short tail keywords are broad and short in phrasing, and long tail keywords are longer in phrase and more specific in what they're going after. So there's a strategy behind picking your keyword, because your keyword is going to determine the size of the market you're going to be reaching, and also the price you're going to be paying for reaching that market. And when we think about an online business, you want to look for a potentially very large market, because the reach of online is endless. It's global, right? So you're not just limited to your domestic country. People can look for you and your products all over the world. And if you have a very vast potential target market pool to fish in, then you don't need a whole lot of high conversion rates, meaning a lot of people purchasing off of your advertising efforts. Small little percentages, if you have a big enough market, are still going to get you to a profitable zone. So you want a large market, and you want keywords that are going to deliver a large market. Like, think of something like weight loss. Weight loss is probably the most searched phrase online, but there's thousands of competitors clamoring in that space and competing for the weight loss keywords. So even though it's a really big market, it's also a bit expensive to advertise in because there's so many competitors. So you want a large market, but also keywords that get you into that market that perhaps other competitors aren't thinking of and bidding on those keywords. So this is where it gets to be a little bit of a game as far as picking the keywords that are going to get you your target market without you having to pay too much money. And the more niche you get, the more specific, the more long tail the keywords are that you're bidding on, the smaller the market becomes, less competitors, but because there's less competitors, there's not as many customers to go after, and you might run out of your customer base, or your ad costs are going to go up. And when you think about your keywords, think about what are people's phrasing when they're looking for your product, and what are some of the key purchase attributes that they're going to consider when they're buying your product. Price, convenience. So when people think about your product, if it's a car, they think about miles per gallon and what's the longevity of the car, and so they're going to be searching using those purchase attribute phrases like high miles per gallon hatchback sedans under $5,000, right? That would be a very specific long tail keyword. So think about the purchase attributes and the relevance to the target audience when you're coming up with keywords. So you get a long list of keywords, and then you're going to go to the next step, which is actually going in and find out what the volume is on those keywords, meaning how many people are searching based on these different keywords. And that'll give you an idea of the market size for different keywords. Now, above me are two gentlemen from Google, and I want you to watch that video. Now, if this is showing as a video within a video, and it would be if you're watching this in YouTube, then you may not be able to click on that video above me and have it activate. So above the two gentlemen in that video, you'll see the URL to get you to that YouTube video. So please do watch that video, because it gives you some really good information about some of the things that Google considers when you're going into the ad bid process and competing for keywords. So please listen to that video. Thank you. So we know that when we go to bid for customers in the online environment, there's a bid process, meaning it's not just a flat fee like it is with traditional media that we were looking at in last week's lecture. So based on how many people are vying for that target audience at any given time and place is going to drive how low or how high the ad cost is, the cost per click or the pay per click for that target audience. So you're competing against other advertisers that are going after that same target audience. That target audience is defined by the keywords that you use to determine that target audience. So we want high volume, lots of target audience, with not a lot of competitors. So the nuances in your keywords are important to your ad pricing. Now, I apologize for the bright yellow links here. I couldn't get PowerPoint to change these colors. But if you look on those last two bullet points, there's some websites where you can go and do keyword volume search. So keyword volume is you'll type in something like, say, mountain bikes, and it'll say, here's how many people are searching for this term. So there's SERPs, S-E-R-P-S, and I've given you their website there. You can sign up for a free trial. There's also Google Trends, which also has good information on what people are searching for online. So the goal in your first step in kind of defining, before you start your digital advertising and defining your target audience, is you can do a keyword search, keyword volume search, to find out how many people are searching on these different keywords, and then you're going to pick probably your top 3 or 5 keywords that you're going to want to advertise to. This slide, we're going to hear from Hal Varian. He is the chief economist for Google, and this is a good YouTube video explaining how their bid process works. Now, as advertisers, we would probably assume that whoever is willing to bid the highest price is going to win the bid and get to advertise to that target audience, those keywords. But that is not the case. And that's what this video from Hal talks about. So again, if you can't get the video if you just click on the video itself, if it won't run for you in the YouTube format for these lecture slides, then I've put the URL above that video, and you can search for that video that way and watch it accordingly. So please do watch this video. But what's important to note here is that the actual price you're willing to bid is not the main driver of if you get to advertise to that target audience or not. There's much more important other factors that Google looks at. What's the quality of your website and your advertisement? What format type of ad are you running? Because different folks are using different formats, and if they've got too many people competing for a banner ad, well, that's going to drive prices up. So if you have a different type of ad format, and Hal talks about some other factors in here. Same thing for Facebook, which isn't in this video, but Facebook is more concerned about the engagement of your content than who's willing to pay the most. So why is it that both of these social media / search engine sites are less concerned about the bid price? Is it because they're making so much money? Well, they are. But it's really because they want to give advertising that to their customers, the people who use Google, that is relevant and that is engaging to them. If you go into Google, you don't want to be bombarded with a bunch of ads for products that you're really not interested in, right? That's going to give you a bad Google experience. So they're aware of that. So they want to make sure that the folks the advertisers that they're letting advertise to different target audiences, that their users, the Google users, are getting quality content and ads that are relevant to them. Same for Facebook. What's going to drive your Facebook advertising bid costs down? Well, are people engaging with your content? Are they liking it? Are they forwarding it? Are they reposting it? So that is more important to them, engagement, than who's willing to pay the most. Same thing, they don't want the Facebook users to be bombarded with ads for products that aren't relevant to them and that they're not interested in. That's going to give them a bad Facebook experience. So this concept of relevance and engagement is really what drives a big piece of the ad price that you're going to pay. So please watch this video, and that'll give you even more on this. So if we know that good engagement is really going to drive our ad costs down, we want to ask ourselves, what drives good engagement, people liking our ads and our stuff? Well, the quality of your content is paramount. So content is king in the online world. So your content has to have value with your target audience. So this puts us in the realm of influencer marketing. So there's so many information sites out there, and we're all bombarded with tutorials on this and tutorials on that, and folks are trying to tell you how to get rich with online businesses. So if the content is good, then people will keep coming back for more. If your content is good and updated in regular updates, then people are going to continue to watch as long as they're getting value. So what that tells us is that we have to have good content, which means we have to have information that our target audience is interested in. It's not about necessarily trying to sell people first. It's about giving them good content first, and then down the line they're going to purchase products for us once we get them hooked on our content. So this is what we call influencer marketing. So first we get your permission to market to you, and you like our content and you're interacting with it. And then down the line at some point we're going to trade you up to our even better stuff, and you're going to purchase that. Where do you get content? Content and the production of content and regular posts can be really time consuming for online businesses. It's a lot of work to regularly shoot videos and have posts and feed the content beast, if you will. So I've listed down at the bottom here one site that you can look at, which is Mashable.com, which is a content aggregator site, and you can get information there. The challenge with online businesses is everybody's grabbing everybody else's content, right? And so it's kind of tough to police that and make sure that people aren't stealing your stuff. Certainly that happens in international markets. But keep in mind, your content is the link bait. your content is what you're going to use to dangle in front of your target audience to get them to sign up for your newsletter or to give you their email to get that juicy tutorial video, right? So good content is link bait. Good content gives you permission to market directly to your target audience because they've given you their contact information. So not only does good content help us get a large following on a social media platform, and it gives us increased chances that they're going to give us their email and we can market to them directly, but good content also drives engagement, meaning the potential customer is engaging with our brand and our information and our content, but it also drives our ad costs down. So as you saw with the Google chief economist video on how they determine ad ranking, good content and engagement in that content drives down ad costs. Regular posts of good content that users are clicking and engaging with also improves your search engine optimization. So, the Google ad rank system also looks at how many folks are coming from outside links, how many links are to other sites, and they're measuring all of that. So if you want to be on the first page of a Google search for mountain bikes, from an organic search, not a paid search, versus buried on the 50th page and no one's going to scroll down that far, that's in the realm of search engine optimization, or SEO. You've probably heard that term. But one of the things that drives SEO is how engaging is your content and how often are you posting regular content to your website. So you can read the other stuff on the site, but I want you to understand the link between content and engagement drives down your ad costs. And with permission marketing, again, here's where the customer has given you their email or followed you on a social media platform. They're giving you their permission for you to market to them directly. That's what we mean. So, and they do that by opting in. Here's my email. I've opted in, and I'm allowing you to market to me. Now, email response rates are getting lower and lower, and what I'm hearing from online advertisers is social media sites are working to keep the customer directly in that social media platform, say Facebook, for the entire experience, so you can market to them directly and sell to them directly. They don't want you to provide an email to an advertiser and then that advertiser pulls you out of Facebook and now they're marketing to you directly on your email. And the emails that we usually give for these types of ads to get some free content, we all do this. We use our junky Gmail or an email that we don't use very often. So advertisers, when they try to market to these email addresses, they get very low response rates. So now they're working to try to sell directly within that social media platform. And we'll talk about that more later. So, but through permission marketing, you as a customer have opted in and you've given them your email. And from the online business side, once you've hooked customers onto your content, you can give them more content and you can track and measure which type of content they follow most. So they seem most interested in these types of articles, or they like to see video more than they like to see straight text posts. So you can tailor your content and offerings to increase the chances of getting them to opt in and hopefully also to buy something. Here's an example of permission marketing. So this is my Gmail, but this is from Ocean Robbins. He runs a health and healthy food blog and website, and has all types of recipes and tips and how to eat healthy and things to avoid when shopping. And if the name's Robbins sounds familiar, his name's Ocean Robbins, and yes, he's the son of one of the founders of Baskin Robbins. So, and he went the other direction, completely healthy. So I signed up for his newsletter, and you can see here I get bombarded with emails on a regular basis. And he has a subscription model where you can sign up to his newsletter and receive a lot of information. But most of this content, as you can see here with these emails above me, he's just giving them out for free. give them out for free in the hopes that I'm going to sign up and buy a cookbook or something, you know, some type of subscription model platform. You give before you get. So bottom line, good content drives engagement. Engagement helps increase your search engine optimization results and also helps drive down your advertising costs. And one of the things we're seeing that's driving engagement with social media platforms is the move to video and live video. So you may have heard about this, but Facebook has Facebook Live now, where as an advertiser you can broadcast directly. So rather than posting, you know, a text post or a post with a picture, a static picture, now you have the ability, if you're a business on Facebook with a lot of followers on your business Facebook page, that you can push live video out onto your Facebook page and people will see that. This example here shows the Facebook Watch page where this business has a live video. So rather than a picture as the first thing you see when you go to that Facebook page, is you'll see an actual live video. So again, if you can't click on that link, I've put the link down at the bottom here for you, and you can click on that link and check out what a Facebook Watch live page looks like. So celebrities and TV shows that have their own Facebook page are moving in this direction. So we're definitely moving in the direction of video, partly because the engagement numbers are so much higher. They're like 10x, 10 times more likely to engage and respond to a video post than just a straight up picture or text. All right, so now that we've talked about keywords and we've talked about content and how that helps drive engagement, let's look at the digital advertising steps. So as you're preparing to put together a digital advertising campaign, the first thing you're going to do is keyword research. Let's look at a bunch of different keywords using one of the sites that I showed you in previous slides and determine what's the volume for these different keyword options. Some of these keywords volume search sites, if you do a Google search on keyword volume search, you'll find several sites that do that. You should also put in free keyword volume search, because there's companies that make you pay for it, but there's also free trials out there. And you can also add to that free keyword cost per click or free keyword pay per click information. And this will tell you not only the keywords and the volume. By putting in keywords, you'll find the volume for those keywords and also what is the average cost per click, or what you'll pay per click for those different keywords. In other words, how expensive is one keyword versus another. Here's the volume for the keyword, and here's what that keyword costs on a cost per click basis. So we understand the bidding process. There's other factors besides the ad. The quality of your website and how engaging is your content is going to help drive what you're paying for your actual ad bid. We know that there's a link now between getting their permission for the users to for us to advertise to them, and we use attraction marketing, which means that they're pulled to our content and that our content has value, so we're providing value first and hopefully generating sales second. Content drives the value of your product. And then that digital traffic eventually converts to sales. So you're given before you get, and eventually there's sales on the back. And one of the things that we're seeing nowadays is, rather than just sell straight products like information products, is many companies are moving to a subscription model. If you think about it, when's the last time you bought a new laptop and you had to upload some software for it? Upload, like we do that anymore. But rather than pay for Microsoft Office and get a bunch of CDs and load them onto your computer, you're going to get a subscription, right? And it's X dollars a month to use Microsoft Office. It's X dollars a month to have Netflix Everything's moving to a subscription model, and they're trying to keep the price points pretty low so that it's a reference price that we can afford, and it's not prohibitory to us, too expensive. And then they get us on a subscription. So lower price points, bigger audience, higher response, right? If we can charge $5 a month for a subscription and get 100,000 people a month versus charge for a $100 information product and only get 100 people a year, the larger volume of the lower price point, i.e. a subscription, is where a lot of these businesses are starting to go. This brings us to our next key term out of this lecture, which is return on ad spend, ROAS. So if you've taken any finance classes, we've learned about return on investment. So this is basically the same thing, but for digital advertising, return on advertising spend. And there's a flow to how this works. So the first thing you'll see on the slide is those three bulleted abbreviations: CPC, CPL, and CP conversion. So CPC is cost per click or pay per click. And whenever a user, if they're on Facebook or Google, when they click on your ad, at that moment, that's when you have paid for that traffic. So they click on that ad, and that's going to take them to a landing, it's going to take them to an offer or a landing page, and you're going to try to get their contact information, their lead. So when they click on your ad, that's when you pay. So unlike traditional advertising, if you pay in advance for a print ad or a TV ad, and you hope that somebody sees it and you hope that somebody buys it. So with digital advertising, you pay when they click. So there's some level of engagement of the ad, and you pay when they click. So let's say you're paying $1 per click. Your cost per click is $1. And you have an ad budget of $100 daily. So you set that up with your Facebook ad manager. And after your 100th click, you've spent your $100 for that day. So in this case, your cost per click would be $100 for that day. Your cost per lead is out of the people that clicked and went to your landing page, how many of them then looked at your offer, hey, get my free tutorial on how to use Google AdWords, or hey, watch my video on how to lose weight. Just give me your email. Just give me your email and I'll give you this content for free. Again, we give before we get. So let's say out of those 100 people who clicked and went to your landing page, 10 of them actually gave you their contact information, their email. Then those are now what we call leads, because now you have their direct contact information and you can market to them directly outside of the social media platform. So that's a lead. And now you have their information and you can market to them to infinity, just like the Ocean Robbins emails that I was showing you earlier. I gave them my email at one point, and he's been marketing to me ever since. But what I'm not is the third step. I'm not a conversion. He hasn't sold me anything. So clicks are traffic. Traffic converts to leads, and leads convert to sales. So out of those 100 clicks, we spent $100 on getting clicks, traffic, and then we generated 10 leads out of that. So in this case, our cost per lead is $10. So we spent $100 and we got 10 leads. So $100 divided by 10 is $10 per lead. Does that make sense? So then we get to the final piece, which is what we're in this whole game for, is the conversion, which is really a term for a sale, cost per sale. So let's assume that we had 100 clicks, we got 10 leads, and then we had one sale. So in this case, our cost per conversion, meaning our cost to sale, was $100. We spent $100 and we got one sale. So our cost per sale was $100. Now, is that good or is that bad? Well, it depends on what you're selling and how much that product costs. If your product is being sold for $50 and you spend $100 on advertising to get that $50 sale, that's not good. You're losing money, right? So, 3-to-1 is considered a good ratio. For every dollar of advertising you spend, you get $3 in sales. So in this case, we spent $100 to get one sale. We would hope that we made at least $300 in sales. So for that one sale, that product should be $300 or more in price, a 3-to-1 ratio. The yellow link there and the red URL beneath that will show you some averages for your click-through rates, your cost per clicks, and your cost per conversions for different industries. So you can check that out and see which ones are super expensive and which ones are not. So, but because we know that we're going to spend a certain amount and we need to have a certain amount of profit, and if we're selling a product and having less margin than what it's costing us to advertise to gain a sale, then we're not going to make any money. So we need a high profit margin so we can spend more on advertising. So if we think of hard products, like maybe you're trying to sell, I don't know, a wireless speaker, Bose speaker. This is a product, right? So somebody had to manufacture this, and maybe this thing cost $100, but your cost to produce it, your cost of goods sold, is $50. So what that means is each time you sell a Bose portable wireless speaker, that you're making $50 in profit, right? So, but if I was selling a information product that was about how to build a profitable website in a week or less, and it's just an online tutorial, and all I'm really selling is information, there's no product, then I don't have any manufacturing costs, right? I'm just selling information. Just like this course you're taking, I'm selling you basically information. So it's me talking. There is no hard product that you're purchasing. I'm an information product. Information products, because they don't have any costs of goods sold, they tend to have higher profit margins. This is why when we go online, we see so many information products. Everybody's clamoring, trying to sell us some type of information, get-rich video tutorial type of thing. It's because those info products don't have the cost associated with their product of selling an actual hard product. So their margins tend to be higher, and with higher margins, you can spend more on advertising. So let's walk through each of those steps of that return on ad spend. So in the first step, we have a customer clicking on our ad. So that puts us into the cost per click or pay per click category. And when they click on our ad, we're generating traffic to our website. We're generating traffic, but not necessarily any leads or any sales yet. So how do we determine our cost per click? Well, oftentimes when you're setting up your campaign and your budget, you're going to have a preset budget. I want to spend either X amount a day, or I don't want to spend a cost per click above this amount. So you have the ability to set those parameters on whatever platform you're using. Facebook uses Ad Manager, Google AdWords, etc. But you'll have an advertising budget. You can set a dollar amount, or you can set a budgeted cost per click amount. I don't want to spend above X. Now, in a subsequent lecture, I'll get into a break-even cost per click analysis. You should know what your break-even cost per click is. I don't want to spend above X, because if I do, even if I'm selling product, I'll be losing money. I'm spending more in advertising than I'm getting back in actual profit. That's a bad business decision. So we'll get to that later, but you can set up an ad budget by total, daily what you want to spend, or by your maximum cost per click bid. Facebook Ad Manager, there's a link there. Sorry again for the yellow, but that's a tutorial on how to use Facebook Ad Manager. And we want to remember that engagement and relevance drives exposure, not the bid price that you're willing to pay or even how much you're selling of your product. The more engagement, the more people are liking your content and liking your product, and the less expensive your cost per click is going to be. So If you have less popular keywords, those are less expensive. If you have a huge target audience and not a lot of competitors, then that's less expensive. So here we are at step 1, cost per click. We've generated some traffic. Okay, so they clicked on your content, bottom of your slide here, but did you get an actual lead? Let's go to step 2, cost per lead. So step 2 is when we have an actual lead. So congratulations, they clicked on our stuff and they actually liked our content, whatever free offer we had, our link bait stuff, and they gave us their email. So now we can actually market to them directly. So the cost per lead is simply your total ad cost, which from the previous slide we know that we spent $100 total based on how many leads we actually received. So let's assume we had 10 leads and we spent $100. It's $10 per lead. This is an important metric to know because you can use this number to compare against other advertising options. If my cost per lead is $10 on Facebook, what does it cost me per lead if I run a radio spot? Or if I do a print ad in this vehicle with a coupon offer and people come in with the coupon offer, or they mention some type of promotional code on the radio spot, so we know we can track that lead back to that specific media vehicle. When you have a cost per lead, you can compare that cost per lead against other advertising options. And basically we want the lowest cost per lead. So whichever media vehicle is giving us the lowest cost per lead is the one we want to use the most. So we determine our cost per lead by the total ad cost, $100 in this case. We spent $100 in clicks at $1 a piece for the day, divided by number of leads, 10. And when you look at cost per click and cost per lead, you can, depending on the size of your business and how much volume, you could be looking at these daily or weekly or monthly. Oftentimes they roll this up into looking at them on monthly figures. What was our average cost per click for this month versus that month? What was our average cost per lead this month versus that month? So when somebody gives you a lead, they typically go through this process. They click on your content, and then there's an offer. Would you like my free video? Just give me your email. I'll give you this free video. And they give you your email. And then at that point, that puts them into a landing page where they can get that free content. And you've now captured their email, so you know which offer they came from. There are some very complex behind-the-scenes software packages like Infusionsoft that track and measure all these different ads and offers to see, which ads, which offers, even the colors, things that they call split testing that you see on your last bullet point on this slide, like what if we do an offer with this language versus this language? Which one has a higher response rate? Which color of the ad? Which products? All of that. You can test all these things and see which things are going to have the higher response rate with customers. So a customer opts in with their email. They go to your website now and go to a landing page. And we're tracking that behind the scenes with Infusionsoft. And we have a lead. So, but we don't have yet is a sale. So now we want to go to step 3, if we actually get a sale. So when we get the lead and they're getting our free stuff, they might interact with our brand and consume a lot of our free content for a while before we actually get them to buy something. So free, 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 and then eventually, hopefully they subscribe, we get them hooked on the content, and they sign up for more. We get them in what we call our funnel. Once we have their information, they're in our funnel, we can keep advertising to them to infinity. So we have a cost per lead, in this case, $10. Then we get to the third step, cost per conversion. Hey, we made a sale. How do we determine our cost per conversion? Again, it goes back to that total ad cost divided by the number of sales, not the dollar value of the sales, but the number of people who purchased. So in this case, let's assume we had one sale, and let's assume that the product we sold them cost $100. What was our cost per conversion? Is $100. So it costs $100 in advertising. We spent $100 in clicks, and we had one sale. So $100 divided by 1 is $100 per sale. And our product, Costa, was sold at $100. So did we make any money? No, we didn't make any money. That was the sale price of the product to the consumer. Now we probably had some built-in costs, some operating costs behind that, the cost to produce the materials and all that kind of stuff. So really, if we spent $100 in advertising and sold it for $100, we lost money. So, again, what I was saying in previous slides is ideally a 3-to-1 ratio. So for every dollar of advertising you spend, you get $3 back in sales. So, but those are some of the baseline metrics. In summary, your pay per click, also known as cost per click, your cost per lead, and your cost per conversion. Okay, that's our first digital advertising lecture. I know that was a lot of material. Go back and look at the overview slide where we talked about, keywords and content and engagement and the bidding process and the steps involved in digital advertising and the return on ad spend metrics. All right, thanks for listening. Bye-bye.